Many people have reservations when it comes to natural gas drilling, but others are embracing the move.
Pro drillers tout an economic boom and solutions to the nation's energy problems.
As our Joe Holden explains, those behind the drilling say the benefits far outweigh the risks.
A few years ago, if you said Marcellus Shale, most would say, what's that? Today, it's easily a household term, and it's no doubt due to the big cash prospects and controversy.
A geological jackpot. Marcellus Shale is the so-called bailout for America, previously on a dead-end course for sustainable energy.
This is probably the last treat America will ever have until they get their energy act together.
It was Penn State professor Terry Engelder's study, an in-depth look at the Marcellus released in 2008 that galvanized the industry, leading to an explosion of work across Pennsylvania's northern tier. Drillers from the deep south and Midwest have rolled in, clinging to prospects of a new frontier for natural gas, attracting drill hands to sleepy Pennsylvania towns for a cut of the cash in this trillion-dollar piggy bank hundreds of feet below the surface.
I'm not even sure that any of the gas drillers themselves had any dream that the Marcellus would do as well as it's actually done.
The predictions are staggering by some accounts. More than 100,000 well-paying jobs expected, spurring additional new jobs in transportation, engineering, and contracting.
This is putting us on a stronger path towards energy security. This is a cleaner burning fuel. It's abundant, it's homegrown, and we can produce it safely.
Across the border, New Yorkers sit and watch the gas rush.
We need the income. The state needs the income. Our county needs the income. Our country needs the gas.
For the time being, the Empire State is a non-contender because of a state-issued moratorium on drilling.
It would create a great amount of jobs, which the area needs desperately, and the whole economy does.
The ban has forced the booming industry into the confines of Pennsylvania's border.
I think Pennsylvania knows what they're doing, and New York has made their decision based on their local intelligence.
The lifespan of the Marcellus Shale is predicted to last beyond this century.
It's been really an amazing turnabout for the state of Pennsylvania because no one 3 years ago really realized what the possibilities were.
And while the industry has experienced vocal setbacks over reported groundwater contamination from methane, the industry has been welcomed in places like Bradford County, where the highest number of wells has been tapped. Gas drilling proponents claim the methane was in well water long before the drilling ever started.
Somewhere on the order of 40 to 50% of all water wells in the area of the northeastern part of Pennsylvania have methane dissolved in the water. People have been drinking methane in water for a long, long time.
It's predicted the spark of the gas rush won't be a mere flash in the pan. A new frontier emerges, bringing prosperity and challenges.
We've really found ourselves in a very enviable position in terms of future source of energy that will affect the entire nation.
Right now, Pennsylvania has about 1,800 Marcellus natural gas wells.
Officials say gas development will occur in at least half of the state's counties. In 10 years' time, experts predict there will be 3,500 wells drilled each year in a time span that goes on for decades. Much of the dense developments are expected in our area.
Straight ahead, the politics of policing the gas companies.
Is enough being done to regulate the natural gas industry in Pennsylvania? We go to the top man at the DEP for some answers.
Plus, a Wayne County native gets on the national stage with a documentary that hits close to home.
The gas industry is not telling you the truth.
Still to come, GASLAND. Is it an eye-opening look into the gas industry or a one-sided piece of propaganda?
We'll let you decide when Gas Rush, the Marcellus Shale project, continues.
Many people have said that with the right regulations in place, natural gas drilling could be safer and cleaner than both coal and oil.
But when it comes to the gas rush, regulators are dealing with limited resources and overlapping rules.
Our Andy Mahalchik went to Harrisburg to talk with the state's top environmental regulator about the challenges and the politics involved.
John Hanger is Secretary of the State Department of Environmental Protection. He insists that Pennsylvania has strengthened its regulations when it comes to monitoring gas drilling operations.
We've increased our oversight staff from 88 positions in 2008 to 202 today.
But Hanger said more can be done.
It's a disgrace that we don't have a severance tax in place already. We are sending now profits to places like China, Norway, India, Britain tax-free.
Hanger argues that regulations on the books are indeed working.
In terms of dealing with spills and leaks, the companies across the board are always held accountable.
But U.S. Senator Bob Casey says more can be done.
I believe that having the EPA have more of a national standard would be preferable.
Senator Casey, along with New York Congressman Maurice Hinchey, have introduced what they call the FRACT Act. They want to force gas companies to make public what they're putting into the ground.
The concern we have, though, is what about groundwater and drinking water? Will that be compromised? What about quality of life? What about emergency situations at the well sites?
And I think that Pennsylvania should consider stopping the drilling without honesty in the context of the drilling, without having the drillers tell what they're doing, what they're putting into the ground.
But Hinchey and Casey know they and state lawmakers are up against gas companies and their lobbyists, which have pumped millions of dollars into the fight against increased regulations. The challenge for lawmakers is this: to balance the benefits of jobs and an influx of money to a cash-strapped state against the risk of environmental damage that might be felt for generations to come. And the bottom line is this: the Marcellus gas industry is here to stay. Whether good decisions are made now or bad decisions is for history to decide. Reporting at the state capitol in Harrisburg, Andy Bohalchik, Eyewitness News.
Right now, federal agencies have very little oversight when it comes to drilling.
The gas industry is exempt from a long list of federal regulations, including the Safe Drinking Water Act, parts of the Clean Air Act, and the Superfund law. Coming up next, a documentary on natural gas drilling puts our area in the national spotlight.
You couldn't plead ignorance at this point. You should not be leasing.
Straight ahead, the director of the smash hit documentary GASLAND has a warning for landowners. But people who are pro-drilling say it's all propaganda.
Gas Rush, the Marcellus Shale Project, continues after the break.
A documentary on the natural gas industry is sparking outrage on both sides of the drilling debate. Wayne County native Josh Fox is taking on the gas companies in a film that he wrote, directed, and starred in called GASLAND.
Fox traveled from northeastern Pennsylvania to states across the country being impacted by natural gas drilling, highlighting the problems that arise. Now the film is a national hit, but his opponents say he's telling a one-sided story.
Our Kyla Campbell talked with Fox and other key players to separate fracking fact versus fiction.
Josh Fox's documentary GASLAND focused on water contamination and health problems believed to be the results of natural gas drilling in our region and other states. But Pennsylvania's Department of Environmental Protection says GASLAND included flat-out lies.
My name is Josh Fox.
Josh Fox didn't just sign a lease when a natural gas drilling company offered him nearly $100,000 to use his land. Instead, he took it upon himself to see what drilling was all about, and Fox didn't like what he saw.
Quantum Labs out to test it, and the guy looked at it and said, don't drink it, don't shower in it, don't do your laundry, don't do dishes, don't do anything in it.
Water contamination and health problems became the focus of his documentary, GASLAND.
The gas industry is not telling you the truth. You have to talk with the Southerners. You have to look at what's been happening.
GASLAND director Josh Fox says it's all about what goes into the ground during the fracking process. He claims nearly 600 different chemicals can be found in hydraulic fracturing water, but Fox says the chemicals don't have to be disclosed. Chemicals that he says end up in people's water lines.
Whoa.
The Marcellus Shale Coalition and the Department of Environmental Protection both came out with a point-by-point rebuttal of the film. Other experts argue Fox took examples out of context in GASLAND.
GASLAND was like showing 4 horrific automobile accidents and saying we've got to stop using cars and go back to horse and buggy days.
But the film did what Fox wanted. It got the attention of environmental group leaders.
John Hanger owns, his resignation should happen immediately.
It's been our job, frankly, here to be an independent professional regulator. We've done that as best as we know how.
Hanger says GASLAND only tells part of the natural gas drilling story. He says there are real benefits and real costs.
The truth is, if we don't use natural gas today, then we're going to use for the next 10 years much more coal and much more oil.
Fox maintains a 5-year moratorium on drilling is necessary in order to do an in-depth health study.
You couldn't plead ignorance at this point. You should not be leasing.
Josh Fox is considering a follow-up documentary, saying the tour of the film is almost as compelling as the initial making of it.
Amid the protests and opinions, the drilling and debating, the gas rush has hit northeastern and central Pennsylvania, and many say it will continue for decades to come.
And so too will the controversies. The environment, the economy, and the search for sustainable energy will top the list of issues as this process plays out. Only time will tell what impact it'll have on our area, our Commonwealth, and our country.